Welcome to the most exciting matchup of AI art generators that we've seen all year. In the red corner, reigning as the undisputed champion for almost 2 years, we have MidJourney. In the blue corner, we have the challenger, released less than a week ago. Coming for the heavyweight gold, Flux One.
Round one, fight!
On the left, this is the Flux Pro model. On the right, we have the MidJourney model. We're going to start with our realism prompts. First is going to be a close-up photograph of morning dew droplets on a spider's web in a forest with soft sunlight filtering through the leaves in the background. Ensure the droplets are perfectly spherical and reflect the surrounding foliage. Look at that spider web. Super coherent spider web, dew droplets, forest. The background looks definitely like a forest. You can see the foliage, see the different trees in the background. So this definitely looks like a forested image. Let's take a look at MidJourney's spiderweb. Not great. You can't really tell that this would be a forest. It does do some of the reflection in the droplets. You do see a reflection of surrounding foliage. But if we look from a realism perspective, this looks very realistic, whereas this one looks much more cartoony. So I'd give this one to Flux Pro. This is a bustling farmer's market on a sunny day with vendors selling fresh produce. Focus on the realistic textures of fruits and vegetables, the varied expressions of people, and the play of light and shadow across the scene. Looks pretty good. Realism is there. Shadows, lighting, different expressions on the faces. This is a fantastic image. Let's go ahead and take a look at MidJourney. So it's not a realistic image at all. This is obviously painted. This is not correct. Have to give this one to Flux Pro again. The next realism prompt, an abandoned rusty car in a field of tall grass, showcasing the effects of time and weather, capture the peeling paint, patches of rust, and the way nature is slowly reclaiming the vehicle. We'll go to Flux first. This is an amazing image. An abandoned rusty car in a field of tall grass, foreground, beautiful, showcasing the effects of time and weather, capture the peeling paint, patches of rust, and the way nature is slowly reclaiming the vehicle. I have nothing bad to say about this image. It's slowly falling. I know what this type of car in a field looks like. I lived in Georgia in the US for a long period of time, and you see this on a regular basis, just sitting out in a field, how the tire has deflated and is really sunk into the ground. That's exactly the type of thing that happens when you just sit a car, all that weight over time. This looks phenomenal. Let's go to MidJourney. It's not bad. It's pretty good. Window looks a little bad. It looks kind of cartoony right there. Realism isn't there in the window. The type of rusting is not realistic. You see how it kind of looks like it's painted on there? That's not what rusting looks like when you rust a car. It doesn't have a super realistic feel. Tall grass looks pretty good. It does look like it's reclaiming the vehicle. However, when you just compare these two side by side, if you're looking at what looks like a real car when it's being rusted out, this is not something you'd see.
Stop it. Get some help.
MidJourney loses this one again. Flux is up 3-0.
Knockout! Round two, fight!
This section is about how well each of these image generators handle in the style of prompt. So when you say in the style of this artist or in the style of that artist, we're going to be giving each of these a prompt in the style of, and then we'll be taking a look at both of them and also comparing them to the actual artist's imagery. This is a serene Japanese garden with a koi pond and cherry blossoms in the style of, I'm not going to pronounce that, but this style right here. I don't even have to go look. Neither of them are identical or really capture the essence of that style of print, especially that artist. If we're looking at both of these side by side, for sure, 100%, MidJourney wins this. The next prompt is a vibrant, emotionally expressive portrait of a jazz musician playing the saxophone in the style of Wassily Kandinsky's abstract art. Both of them got the coloring, but if we look at the actual art itself and you look at MidJourney, I would have to say again, MidJourney captures this. Flux just looks like a rendering of it, some type of more modern take. MidJourney definitely wins this one again. A dreamlike landscape featuring melting clocks and elongated figures inspired by Salvador Dali's surrealist paintings. This is cool. Don't get me wrong. I think this rendition of Dali's ideas into more rendered style, this is so cool. Flux did some cool artwork with this one. However, if we're trying to be true to the prompt, Dali's actual style, MidJourney gets this again. This feels much more like a Dali painting. So again, MidJourney wins this.
Knockout! Round 3. Fight!
This next section is prompt coherence. We are not going to be looking at hallucinations. We are not going to be looking at the style. We are only looking at how well does the model create based on the prompt. The first prompt is create an image of a futuristic cityscape at night. The sky should be deep purple with 2 moons, one large and blue, the other small and green. In the foreground, place a hovering silver vehicle with neon blue accents. The building should be sleek and made of glass with holographic advertisements projected onto their surfaces. On the left side of the image, include a robot street vendor selling glowing fruit. The sky should be deep purple. Flux is not a deep purple, while MidJourney definitely got the deep purple sky. It should have 2 moons, one large and blue. So Flux got the large and blue moon, and so did MidJourney. The other small and green. So I don't even see a second moon. There's this tiny little dot, which could be, I guess, a second moon, but there's no way to distinguish the color of that. Whereas on MidJourney, it does have a small moon. However, I do not see anything green. It's purple. It does have a small moon, I'll give it that. In the foreground, place a hovering silver vehicle with neon blue accents. Flux just has a car hovered. It does have neon blue accents, but yeah, it's just a car hovering. So whereas on MidJourney, you do have hovercraft futuristic vehicle with neon blue accents. Gonna have to give that one to MidJourney as well. The buildings should be sleek and made of glass. Definitely Flux does not follow that at all. If I looked at both of these side by side, I'd have to say MidJourney followed that a bit better. They do look more reflective and as if it was made of glass. I'd have to give this to MidJourney. Holographic advertisements, yeah, this is definitely MidJourney. They're holographic advertisements all over these buildings where I think I see maybe one advertisement right here on Flux, and that's about it. On the left side of the image, include a robot street vendor selling glowing fruits. So you do see on Flux a robot street vendor selling some fruits. They are not glowing. On MidJourney, you do see a robot street vendor and you do see glowing fruits. I'm gonna have to say that MidJourney followed this much better, and we're gonna have to go with MidJourney on this. A whimsical underwater scene. The water should be clear turquoise color. Place a giant pink octopus wearing a top hat in the center. Surrounding the octopus, add 5 different species of tropical fish, each a different bright color: yellow, orange, purple, red, and blue. On the ocean floor, create a miniature city made entirely of coral with tiny mermaid inhabitants. In the top right corner, show the underside of a wooden ship floating on the surface. Okay, so generate a whimsical underwater scene. Both of them got that. The water should be a clear turquoise color. Yeah, I'd have to give this to Flux. Place a giant pink octopus wearing a top hat in the center. Both of them got that. Surrounding the octopus, add 5 different species of tropical fish, each a different bright color. So they do have the tropical fish, but if you look over on MidJourney, it does look like it actually got all 5 colors, whereas on Flux, you definitely don't get that. Yellow is the only color Flux put in there. Now, if we look at the ocean floor, we have a miniature city made entirely of coral with tiny mermaid inhabitants. I see a miniature city on both of these. I don't see any mermaid inhabitants, but I will say over on MidJourney, it does look like they are actually made out of the coral. So I'm going to have to give that to MidJourney as well. And then in the top right corner, show the underside of a wooden ship floating on the surface. Neither of them are on the surface. They just kind of put a floating wooden ship in the image. However, if we checked off each of these boxes of what got what right, I think we're going to have to give prompt coherence on this one over to MidJourney as well. a steampunk-inspired laboratory. The walls should be dark brown wood paneling. In the center, place a large brass contraption with gears, pipes, and gauges. On the left, show a scientist with wild gray hair wearing goggles and a leather apron. To the right, position a chalkboard covered in complex equations. Hanging from the ceiling include 3 Edison-style light bulbs emitting a warm glow. On a shelf in the background, display 5 different colored potions in glass vials. And let's take a look. A steampunk-inspired laboratory. Yep, both of these got that right. The wall should be dark brown wood paneling. Check mark for Flux. In the center, place a large brass contraption with gears, pipes, and gauges. So we definitely have gauge. We got some pipes. I don't see any gears on here. When we look over at MidJourney, we do have a weird contraption with gears, pipes, and gauges. I'm going to have to give this one to MidJourney. They're 1-1 right now. On the left, show a scientist with wild gray hair wearing goggles and a leather apron. Goggles, wild gray hair, and leather aprons. And that is an apron. So we got that right on Flux. MidJourney, that is not an apron. So we're going to give this one to Flux. To the right, position a chalkboard covered in complex equations. To the right, yep, complex equations. However, if we look at the coherence of the output, I'd have to give this one to Flux. You could tell when you look at this image that this would be an equation, whereas on MidJourney, you don't really know what that would be. It doesn't really look like equations. Hanging from the ceiling include 3 Edison-style light bulbs emitting a warm glow. If you look over at Flux, you got 1, 2, 3. These are Edison-style, emitting a warm glow. On MidJourney, it does look kind of like Edison, but not quite. That's definitely not an Edison filament. I'm going to have to give this one to Flux as well. And then we say on the shelf in the background, display 5 different colored potions in glass bottles. Neither of those got that completely right. So I'm going to take that out from both of them. But if we look at this from how we broke it down, Flux won this one. An enchanted forest clearing at twilight. The sky should be a gradient from deep blue to purple. In the center, place an ancient stone circle with glowing runes. Surrounding the circle, add 7 tall trees with faces carved into their trunks. Fireflies should be scattered throughout the scene, emitting a soft yellow light. In the foreground, show a small pond reflecting the moonlight. Hide 3 mythical creatures in the scene: a unicorn peeking from behind a tree, a fairy sitting on a mushroom, and a phoenix perched on a branch. So it says an enchanted forest clearing at twilight. I would have to edge this out probably to MidJourney. Looks like more of a twilight type of skyline. The sky should be a gradient from deep blue to purple. Neither of them have really a deep blue to purple. We'll go ahead and just say neither on that one. In the center, place an ancient stone circle with glowing runes. So we have an ancient stone circle, glowing runes. I don't see any runes over here, whereas this is a stone circle with glowing runes. So I'd have to say MidJourney on this one. Surrounding the circle, 7 tall trees. I'd have to give this one to Flux. It looks like it actually tried to count these, whereas MidJourney threw in some trees. There was no attempt at trying to count the amount of trees, whereas these are very specifically placed. They don't blend into the background. They aren't the same type of trees as the background trees. These are obviously the model trying to do what we said with these trees. So I'm going to have to give this to Flux. Faces carved into their trunks. I don't see any faces in the tree trunks. I see some faces in the runes, but that is not the same as the tree trunks where I do see faces in the trees. So I'm going to have to give this to Flux as well. Fireflies should be scattered throughout the scene, emitting a soft yellow light. Both of these get these pretty good. In the foreground, show a small pond reflecting the moonlight. Yeah, I definitely see that with Flux. I'd have to give this to Flux. Hide 3 mythical creatures in the scene. A unicorn peeking from behind a tree, so it tried to do that. A fairy sitting on a mushroom, there's a fairy, and a phoenix perched on a branch. I don't see any phoenix because I don't see any of that over here. I don't see a unicorn, I don't see a fairy, I don't see a phoenix. I don't see anything over here trying to adhere to the prompt given. So I'm going to have to give this to Flux as well. It's not perfect, but if we're talking about prompt coherence, and I'd have to give it over here too. So now we're going into the final prompt to break the tie. A busy, colorful candy factory. The walls should be striped pink and white. In the foreground, show a conveyor belt carrying various types of candy: lollipops, chocolate bars, gummy bears, and peppermint. On the left, place 3 Oompa Loompa-like workers in bright green uniforms operating fantastical candy-making machines. On the right, show a waterfall of liquid chocolate flowing into a swirling rainbow river. Hang oversized candy canes from the ceiling. In the background, through a large window, show a landscape made entirely of different colored candies. The busy, colorful candy factory. Both of them look like a factory. However, I'm going to have to give this a Flux. The wall should be striped pink and white. It's walls, plural, not one wall. But this is not exactly white. This is pink and white. Since one gets the walls correct, one gets the coloring correct, I'm going to cancel this one out and we'll move on to the next. In the foreground, show a conveyor belt carrying various types of candy: lollipops, chocolate bars, gummy bears, and peppermints. I don't know what these are over on MidJourney. What the fuck? Whereas on Flux, you do see peppermints, you do see chocolate bars, I do see some gummy bears, or at least what's probably trying to be a gummy bear. I'm gonna have to give this to Flux. On the left, place 3 Oompa Loompa workers in bright green uniforms operating fantastical candy-making machine. You do see green characters. This is like 5 on MidJourney, whereas you see 3 kind of creatures on the left side. If we're talking about trying to adhere to the prompt, going to have to give this to Flux as well. On the right, show a waterfall of liquid chocolate flowing into a swirling rainbow river. It's not liquid chocolate flowing into the rainbow river, but I do see clear rainbow. I do see it flowing into the river. I don't know what this is. Something coming from the sky over here, flowing down, and then you have this one over here. None of it looks like chocolate. Doesn't look like rainbow. If I hadn't written this prompt, I would have no idea what that would be trying to be. I'm going to have to give this a Flux as well.
Knockout! Round 4. Fight!
Now on to our final category. This is text coherence. So with text coherence, it's going to be something similar to prompt coherence, except what we're going to be looking for is how well it did with the different styles of font, the different colors of the font, etc. A vintage style travel poster for Mars, the Red Planet Adventure. The title should be in a bold red Art Deco font at the top of the image. Below the title, add the subtitle, "Experience the thrill of interplanetary travel," in a smaller, sleek silver font. In the center of the poster, show a retro futuristic spaceship on the Martian surface. At the bottom, in a playful green Comic Sans font, add "Book your trip today." In the bottom right corner, include Galactic Tours Inc. in a small, professional-looking black serif font. Wow. All right, guys, there's no question. This is insane. This is better than anything I thought we'd get. Even from Flux, it got almost everything to a T. Mars, the Red Planet Adventure, experience the thrill of interplanetary travel, book your trip today, Galactic Tours Inc. Everything is on there. Interplanetary, misspelt a little bit. You look over at MidJourney, it's just not there. It's not even close. We're going to be giving this, obviously, to Flux. A modern, minimalist movie poster for a film titled Whispers in the Wind. The title should be in a large, airy, white sans serif font that appears to be dispersing like dust, positioned in the center of the poster. At the top, in a small caps using a thin red font, add "based on the best-selling novel by J.K. Winley." The tagline, "Some secrets are meant to be heard," should be placed at the bottom in a delicate italic font in pale blue. In the bottom left corner, include the release date, coming fall 2025, in a standard black font. The entire text should be overlaid on a simple gradient background from dark gray to light gray. Wow, guys, holy crap, this is insane. Looking at both of these, the entire text overlaid on a simple gradient background from dark gray to light gray, that's Flux. I don't know what this is doing. It has credits under here. We didn't ask for credits at all. The title should be airy white sans serif font that appears to be dispersing like dust. This is it. I'm honestly just blown away by how well this is getting these text prompts. Flux got this again. colorful and playful birthday party invitation. The main text, "Join us for Lily's 5th birthday bash," should be in the center using a bubbly, multicolored comic font. Each letter should be a different color of the rainbow. Below this, add Saturday, June 15th, 2 p.m. in a neat black handwriting font. In the top left corner, place the cartoon cake icon with the text "Cake and Ice Cream" in small green font next to it. In the top right corner, add a balloon icon with games and prizes in a small purple font. At the bottom, in wavy blue font, include "At the Johnson Residence, 123 Fun Street." Wow, okay, so this is just crazy. If we look at "Join us for Lily's birthday bash, Saturday 15th to 2000 p.m. This doesn't get it. This is coherent. Look how freaking amazing this is. One prompt, you have a birthday invitation that you can just print out and give to people. Insane. Join us for Lily's 5th birthday bash. This could easily be changed. You could take off the birthday, move Lily's 5th over, birthday bash. People would get it. So it's not perfect. But when you look at this versus this, there's no question. Join us for birthday bash, Lily's 5th, Saturday, June 15th, 2 p.m. Games and prizes at the Johnson Residence, 123 Fun Street. So that's 3 out of 5.
Knockout!